friends, as a longtime Kirby fan and Air Ride player, I never imagined that Kirby Air Ride was going to get a sequel or that the sequel would have its own 45-minute direct out of all things. The Nintendo Direct just happened on August 19th and it was filled with tons of fun information about the game. I'll put a link to the full version of the Direct in the description for you if you want to watch it, but it's also available on Nintendo's YouTube page. I cannot get enough of Kirby after watching this Direct, and I wanted to highlight 5 things that I love and am anticipating in Kirby Air Riders coming out on November 20th, 2025. First off, the graphics are just so insanely detailed and beautiful. It is such an upgrade from the previous Air Ride game. All of the Air Ride machines got such glow-ups, and I love the new additions in the form of the Paper Star, the Chariot, the Tank Star, and the Battle Chariot. The Air Ride stages are so gorgeous, with my favorite one being Mount Amber Falls. I just love autumn so much and water, so this stage has both that autumn vibe, Eastern influence, and such a beautiful waterfall to go down. The other stages are interesting too and distinct in their own way. Additionally, I'll talk about City Trial in another point, but I wanted to highlight the random events in City Trials and the power-ups themselves. Got such glow-ups for sure. They look and feel very nostalgic to me. However, the graphics are updated and they look so good. I love the new playable characters that you can choose from. Originally in Air Ride, you could only be one of 4 different Kirby colors, or Meta Knight and King Dedede. Whenever you played as Meta Knight or King Dedede, however, it was pretty boring since you didn't have access to the cool copy abilities that Kirby can make use of on the race course. I mean, in the beginning, don't get me wrong, I really thought Meta Knight was super cool with his sword and King Dedede with his hammer, especially since King Dedede as a boss in Air Ride was really formidable. In my opinion, I would get KO'd by him all the time. However, once they became playable characters, it was nice to swing their sword or, bash their hammers a couple of times before it got boring fast. So I think this was such a great choice to allow players access to more characters and then let them use Kirby's copy abilities since they're so integral to the gameplay while you're racing. My favorite characters right now are the extremely cute bandana Waddle Dee, Starman, and Gooey. I am such a big fan of the Waddle Dees. They're so cute and they try to do their best, and I definitely relate to that. I also love Starman. He is just incredibly adorable, and I've always loved running into him in the 2D Kirby games, especially since he has a cool superpower ability that Kirby can take to access high jump. Gooey is also just so silly that you just can't help but love him. So I'm very excited to see what other characters there are because it seems like there's a bunch of hidden ones on the maps. So let's talk about City Trial. I am so in love with the new City Trial map Skya, which is a giant floating island. I do like that it's still an isolated map because I was a little concerned that they might decide to go open world like in Mario Kart World. However, since the map is going to be a floating island, I can imagine that players will really get to know Skya with the layout and the hidden secrets that it will undoubtedly have. I am already prepared to move right in and stay in Skya for the foreseeable future once the game releases. Just like how I played the City Trial map to learn everything about it all those years ago, I cannot tell you how many hours I have spent just roaming the city streets in City Trial and hitting all my favorite places such as the volcano and the underground and that one weird mall area where it's just squares layered on top of each other. I am just very, very excited to explore Skya. So there was a little teaser of a mysterious blue flame shadowy character at the end of the Direct, and I'm not really sure who this could be. I have not been able to play the more recent Kirby games, so I was thinking maybe he's from a more recent edition. However, no one else really seems to know who he might be, so he's just as mysterious to everyone else, I guess. With the introduction of this character and the fact that Sakurai mentioned that there's still more to talk about regarding the game, I'm wondering if this new character is tied to a new mode. I know that the direct didn't talk about Top Ride, and although I personally like that mode, I know that it wasn't very popular with most people since City Child always reigns supreme. I don't think that they're gonna really talk about Top Ride, if at all. My speculation is that maybe a story mode is incoming. That would be a super cool addition, and I would love to see more boss battles in the game. This also brings up more questions for me, such as whether the story mode would be single player, or could you maybe do it with your friends locally, or maybe in a multiplayer online setting. I'm really interested to know who this character is and whether or not this character is in a specific mode or if it's just another playable character. So now let's talk about the thing I am most excited about, which is the increase of players for each mode. In the air ride mode, now you can race with 6 players instead of just 4, which I think is actually really reasonable. I know that some people, mainly me in my mind, were wondering if they would pull out 24 players like in Mario Kart World. However, with the busyness of everyone copying abilities and throwing stars everywhere, I totally think it was a good idea to keep it smaller. The races are already so chaotic without the need to add so many more players into the mix. Alternatively, I am very glad that Kirby Air Riders is increasing the players in City Trial from 4 to 16 players online and 8 players with 8 CPUs locally. Gaia is such a big space to hold everyone, so I can't wait to see how 16 players affect the resources on the map and the random events that pop up. I think that ultimately it's going to be such a fun time being able to play multiplayer in Kirby Air Riders. That really increases the longevity of the game as well, since if you don't have anyone to play locally, you can just jump online. I am just stoked about that. I'm also stoked that during the air ride, when you finish and cross the finish line in a multiplayer game, you can just leave and join another race. I think that's really cool that you don't have to sit there and wait for everybody to finish before you just leave. There is just so much more that I have not even touched. They have so many new things that they've added to this game. So I definitely recommend watching the direct if you have time. These are just some of the things that I am most excited for, but you might be excited for other things that they highlight, such as the new Y button and the special abilities, or even the new way that they do stadium mode. So what's your favorite part of Kirby Air Riders? What are you most excited for? Have you played Kirby Air Ride on the GameCube? Let me know in the comments. I need to go find my people and make a list of who I can pull into these multiplayer games. If you like what I do and want to see more, consider liking and subscribing to the channel for more content like this. It would really help out the channel so much and hopefully help people find me easier. Also, check out my Blue Sky if you're not part of the community over there. I do post daily about games that I'm playing, and I would love to find more people who want to talk about Kirby Air Riders as much as I do. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. I have been Nessa, and I've got a winged star to catch. Bye!